Hello everybody, I am Nadia Castaño Noriña and I'm going to share with you the origins of language curriculum. This presentation is composed by 5 features. Those are the origins, the new methods, their curriculum and syllabus, the evolution, and the references. I would like to share with you the different curriculum components. Those are needs analysis, teaching, learning, objectives, materials, and assessment. It is necessary in order to understand the origin of those curriculum components and how this starts. This starts with the notion of syllabus design, a major factor in language teaching. It was focused on the content of a course. However, and before, we had another different kinds of teaching methods. Those were the grammar translation method, the first one, the second one, the direct method, the third one, the structural method, fourth one, the reading method, fifth one, audiolingual method, sixth one, situational method, and finally the present communicative approach. We have all those methods, but how should curriculum be developed and implemented? And what should be taught? What should be taught and how should be taught? We had two different models or two different answers to this question. The first one was related with the vocabulary selection, but there are also some concerns regarding the vocabulary selection. For example, who should decide what vocabulary is taught? What words should be included? Should textbook companies decide? Is there an alternative? Which one? There is an alternative that could be vocabulary frequency. However, frequency is not the same as usefulness. What words should be taught then? It must take into account some factors such as teachability, availability, defining power, similarity, and coverage. There is also another alternative that could be with grammar. In 1920, there were the traditional method, focused on patterns, structures, based on time, teacher-centered, and students as passive subjects. In 1930, we have the gradation and sequencing models. The gradation based on linguistic distance, intrinsic difficulty, communicative need, frequency, and more focus on the students. And sequencing was divided in linear and cyclical, one at a time, focusing on the grammar concepts. However, what to do next? We had the grammar selection and the vocabulary selection, but what can we do with those alternatives? Taking into account that we know what we are teaching and how, a syllabus is essential. Those are the early assumptions in syllabus design. The basic unit of language is vocabulary and grammar. Learners have the same needs, and those needs are related with language. If the student learns English, there won't be problems. Textbook determines the process of language. We already know the definition of the early assumptions of syllabus, but what is the difference between the syllabus and curriculum? Syllabus is contextually diminished view of curriculum design. approach, stage, and principles may be applied equally to syllabus design and curriculum design. So, what is the difference? Richards says that a specification of the content of the course of teaching and lists what will be taught. This is the definition of syllabus. Lists what will be taught and tests content of the course. So, I can conclude we can establish that syllabus makes part of curriculum, since curriculum goes beyond. Curriculum takes into account the organizing of the course, the conceptualizing content, the assessing needs, formulating goals and objectives, developing materials, designing an assessment plan, and taking into account also the context and the articulating beliefs. So, curriculum takes into account different aspects such as assessment, aims and objectives, content, learning activities, the teacher role, the materials and resources, the grouping, the location, and the time. But there's still a concern. What was necessary to evolve from syllabus to curriculum development? To understand this, it is necessary to get to know the different models. For example, Tyler proposes a holistic models based on analysis, design, implementation, testing, and evaluation. Kate Johnson proposes the stages, decision-making roles and products in curriculum development. The developmental stages are curriculum planning, decision-making roles, policymakers, and the product's policy document. Ends means specification, needs analysis, methodologies, product, the syllabus, program implementation, as a decision-making role, the material writers and the teachers trainers. The product would be the teaching materials and teacher training program, and the classroom implementation as a decision-making roles, teacher, learner, and the products, teaching acts and learning acts. Brown, for example, establishes as a main core the institution, the materials makes part of the goals, determine the course content and the sequences of the structure, the design course, and the institution. In the institution, taking into account that is the context established, it is necessary to identify the situation, the context of the students, the needs, the goals, to determine the course content, the sequence, the structures, and design the course units, and also having the teacher as the one who designs the course units and modules, and also as the one who constructs the lesson plans, taking into account the action, teach, and implicit formative assessment of students and self of the course. Assessment is a very important activity because it involves the students, the teacher, the program, and in order to revise the curriculum. And this is a holistic process because we start again to identify, by identifying the situation, the context, the students, and the needs in the institution. Finally, we have the Nation and McAllister. Nation and McAllister had at the core the goals, the content and sequencing, the format and presentation, monitoring and assessing, based on principles, environment, and needs. However, it is necessary to evaluate frequently those principles, those needs, and the environment in order to come to the different goals that will achieve the content and sequencing, the format and presentation, and the monitoring and assessing. We have the different models that show us the different evolution of the curriculum. However, it is necessary to take into account the needs analysis. Needs analysis is directed mainly at the goals and content of a course. It examines what the learners know already and what they need to know. Needs analysis makes sure that the course will contain relevant and useful things to learn. Good needs analysis involves asking the right questions and finding the answers in the most effective way. The purpose of needs analysis is to collect information to develop a profile of the language needs of a group of learners in order to make decisions about the goals and content of the course or curriculum. What are the types of needs? The types of needs are the necessities, what is needed to perform, the lacks, what learners lack or do not have, and what learners wish, the wants. It is necessary also to take into account the context. The context focusing in the teacher, the learner, and the situations. The teachers bringing a high motivation to implement new strategies. The learner, sometimes we have to face some learners that do not have expectations from English, and some others coming from bilingual institutions. And the different situations, for example, lack of technological tools, schools in countryside, lack of textbooks, lack of dictionaries, and so on. So, regarding all these content presented, I can come to the conclusion that language curriculum development should take into account the needs of learners, the objectives for a program, the appropriate syllabus, the course structure, the teaching methods, the materials, the evaluation, the expectations of the program, the learning and teaching styles, the settings where teaching takes place, the organizational structure, and a careful plan. This presentation was based on Richard's Curriculum Development in Language Teaching, and it goes for the professor Edwin Londoño to the course Language Curriculum Development. Thank you so much.